Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Bipolar Show, where I am walking across the continent of Africa. We started this morning in Table Mountains, Cape Town, South Africa, and after 6 hours of walking, a few blisters on my feet, and a new friend met along the way, we are now in Bloubergstrand. It's a beautiful town, and it's right along the ocean. And just here, excited to talk to Nick about mental health. So, Nick, you want to tell them how we met?
My name is Nick Mukona from Zimbabwe. I live here in Cape Town, South Africa. Yes, I was coming from the location in Neonatal called Jos Lobo, and I met my friend walking from Table Mountain, and I was also walking along, going to the same area, Bloubergstrand. And I just met him in front of me, and we started to talk. He was very friendly, and he introduced me to what he is about mental health activism. And fortunately, coincidentally, it so happened that as I was one of those people that experienced the same thing about mental health around 2008 or so I was very much willing to be part of to contribute in his campaign to support him by whichever information you'll be willing to get from someone that experienced it.
How did you experience it in 2008?
Right. This is how it started. I was in Zimbabwe, right? As a normal person. One thing that I just remember is I was a person who was prayerful, right? Very prayerful, right? But it just happened on one night, things just changed. The next morning, I just started behaving strangely. Then I was just running. I ran from one area to the next area, and I was kind of violent. And I just started to see visions, unrealistic things.
That sounds like psychosis.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
So that's how it happened. So it then developed into something very violent, up until I had to be manhandled, given injections. I think I slept for, if it's not 2 weeks, I don't know, up until I was really controlled. Yeah.
Okay. So 2 weeks of sleeping after you got the injections?
Yeah, I don't know how they were maintaining me. Yeah.
Okay. And then what did you find out about what you were going through?
After that?
Yes.
After that, I started to take medication like Epilen and the other ones, which is called the other ones for sleeping. And I was so drowsy. I was so drowsy because I was on heavy medication. It was very heavy. So I was so drowsy. At first, I was not functioning. I was not functioning. It was just a matter of just living, but I was not functioning because I was still under heavy medication.
What did they say you had?
Originally, they said bipolar.
Okay.
That's from even up to now, they said bipolar.
Okay, so you're bipolar, and I talked to Nick. I'm bipolar as well, and that's how we made this connection. Just on the street in Bloubergstrand, a little bit outside of that, walking to the same area. But anyway, keep going.
Yes, so they said bipolar. Yeah, and maybe to confirm that it's bipolar, when I came to South Africa, I lived in South Africa, but against bipolar, like we are advised that we mustn't drink alcohol.
No, absolutely.
So here and there, I was drinking what? Alcohol. So because of that, I had episodes of relapsing. You see? I would not drink tablets, and I would drink alcohol, and I had episodes of relapsing. So, yeah, so it's a confirmation that it was bipolar. But ever since I started, by the grace of God, ever since I started sticking to my routine of taking the tablets, now I think if it's not 5 years, 6 years without being hospitalized, without being relapsing, and I've discovered that even if you have mental health, you can be functional. Because to tell the truth, I have been a manager of a takeaway. I've been, we can say, a manager or a supervisor of a water shop business that was very busy, and I've helped to start 2 businesses for people that are in business already. Right now, I'm starting a business that will affect the whole Africa across. So you can, even though you have mental health, you are not crippled, you can function, you can be a president, you can change the whole world. So that's what I've discovered.
Okay, you said you can change the whole world, and you're not crippled by the bipolar mental health discovery, but is that more true in certain areas of Africa than others? You said that's true in South Africa. You said there's options, right? But you were telling me in Zimbabwe earlier that it's harder.
Yeah, what I'm saying is when it's maintained.
When it's maintained, got it.
When it's maintained, like you are on your meds, you take them as prescribed. You can live a normal life. When you're out there, no one knows that you have mental health. You function.
Is it easy to maintain in South Africa?
It's easy, just like putting a sweet in your mouth and you chew. Just take water and you put your tablet inside. But when it comes to some other countries, like my country, it's difficult only in the sense that access to medication, because the public hospitals where we are supposed to get free medication, they don't have the medication. So you go there, yes, they have professional doctors which can tell you exactly what you are suffering from. But now for the medication they don't have. So what do? They give you the prescription, go to the private sector, now to the pharmacies to go to buy. Now you want to buy Epilem in the pharmacy, you are told maybe it's 100 US, a supply for a month. 100 US is almost 1,800 rand. You are not working, or you are working a job whereby the salary is 200 US. And that 200 US, you have a family of 3 kids, you need to pay rent, you need food, yet your tablets are more than 100 US. So how are you going to manage?
You have to not take your medication.
So the next thing is you are not taking medication. So you are not functional now. You are not going to work. You are not taking care of the family. So it becomes worse and worse and worse. So that's why we need people like Brian to come up and say, because we are saying at least someone has to come up so that some of us, like African countries, we can be supported by those that can. The international community, especially with medication, we are not much interested with this. Money is fine, but money can be abused.
Yeah.
Money can be abused, can be used for the wrong purposes. But if we can have the supply of the actual medication, it's fine.
And then you said your brother battles mental health, but he's a doctor.
Yeah. Like I'm saying, one can be functional. My own brother is a medical doctor in the army, a very good medical doctor, one of the top doctors. But he suffers mental health. Like he drinks his meds, but he's a very good professional doctor who's well dependent. The government depends upon him, but you don't even, he helps. He's helping thousands and thousands of people medically. You see,
because he can control it because he's medicated.
Yes.
Okay, and then
so this thing, I think also one thing that I observe, I don't know how this thing is, but maybe it's we can say it's genetically at times, because in my in my father's family, like my father, my forefather, my grandfather had many wives, you understand?
Got it.
So my family, we are too many. So among us, there is a certain family whereby almost 4 or 5 of us have the same what? Problem.
Mm-hmm.
So you might think maybe it's genetics or whatever, because how can the same family have the same what?
Same problems.
Some mental thing problem.
Yeah.
But the good part of the thing is that all of us are functional.
That's good. And then you have a family here?
My family is in Zimbabwe.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And your brother's in Zimbabwe too?
My brother's in Zimbabwe, and there's another one who's also been affected by the same situation, but he's a teacher in Joburg there.
Okay. So you said you used to be a teacher?
Yeah, I used to be. I'm an ex-teacher from Zim. I used to be a teacher teaching IT or what they call computer studies. Yeah.
And that was back in 2002? 2002?
Yeah.
Okay. In Zimbabwe, computer studies. You've had an interesting life, man.
No, mine is hectic. It's a book.
Have you thought about writing a book about your life?
If given the resources and everything, the platform, I think it will be a bestseller.
Well, we're excited to learn a little bit about you today. And yeah. Yeah, no worries. Oh, you're good. We're just recording. I can cut this out. Yeah, no worries.
That's fine. So that's about it, and yeah, that's what I see. Once it's maintained and you stick to how it's supposed to be. It's not like some other diseases whereby they can be out of control. This mental health is just like HIV. You know, long time back, we used to be so scared about HIV, whereby it was like a death sentence to hear that you are HIV positive. Some other people will kill themselves just by discovering from a test that you're HIV positive. They will commit suicide. But right now, even if you are told today, it's nothing to be scared about, because you just know that if you take your meds nice, you live a normal life and you die at the right time, God's time, 80 and 90 years. Take your medication. So it's not like some other death-threatening diseases like cancer, whereby it's by the grace of God and too much in medical intervention. At times it's out of control. You don't really have it in your hands to maintain it. You understand? So things like HIV and mental health, these are diseases that by God has given us some medical breakthroughs whereby if people are well, what I can also say is there should be campaigns whereby people are educated about it, whether in schools, in communities, how to maintain these things.
We should talk about it more, is what you're saying too.
Let there be awareness and let this stigma come out. It's not something to be ashamed of. You understand? It's something that if we talk about it, even in the homes and schools and where people will come out in the open, when people will get help, and people will know that to be like this it's not like you cannot be functional. You can actually lead an institution, you can actually lead government, you can actually be a businessman who employs thousands and thousands of people, yet you have mental health issues or nothing, you still be functional.
And for some, it can sort of be almost sort of like a superpower. Like, as a bipolar person, we have more energy than...
Nice. And that's what my other brother says, that this thing is like a blessing in disguise, because our reasoning power is too much.
Yes.
Like even me, I see my energy levels, né? My energy levels and my thinking capacity. Né? Plus, it's always up. I'm always hyper. You
Yes.
see, it's my brother. It's very, very extremely very difficult to meet me at a lower level. Low, like you see, he's sad, he's gloomy. No, by God's grace, on top of the joy that God gives me inside, I'm always a hyper person. Even where I stay, they know he's always happy. He's always on top of the game. So,
Well, I'm super thankful that you are the way that you are, and I got to meet you today. And I really appreciate you coming out onto the Bipolar Show for this podcast. And we're going to wrap things up and thank Nick for coming on out and let him get back to his job. And as always, thanks for tuning in and to this episode of the Bipolar Show. Thank you and have a great day.